We are doing a new episode of This Week in Comics, and I'm going to have to do this short and sweet as best as I can. I have, what do I got here? I have 5 books I picked up this past week, and let's get into them. We got Lois Lane, number 2. The Invisible Woman, number 2. Daredevil, number 9, or 621. Justice League, 29. And Champions, number 8, or Champions 35. Now, let's get into some stuff here. Let's start at Lois Lane here. And Lois Lane is still from Greg Rucka and Mike Perkins. This is part of a 12-issue maxi series. And it's got the same kind of... it's got the 3 essential plot lines going on through this. To be honest, I'm curious to see how they're all going to be tied together, or maybe not. Let's see, we have, starting with the smallest one, Lois is going through this kind of big public, I don't know, I'm going to call it crisis, maybe personal crisis, public scandal where a picture was taken of her kissing Superman. Of course, you know, it's Clark, and she knows that, and they weren't cheating, but the whole public thinks that Clark and Superman are different guys, so they assume that she was cheating with Superman. Of course, that makes her look bad, and also makes Superman look bad, too. And she's kind of struggling with that politically. Meanwhile, she's been having this fight with the White House that apparently is not too different than our White House, where she has been questioning them hardcore on how they've been dealing with people at the border. And they have eliminated her press pass as the cover. And matter of fact, they've stopped giving passes to anybody who works with the Daily Planet. Also, she and The Question are working on this murder that happened of a Russian journalist over in Moscow. And Renee Montoya Question breaks into her apartment at the crime scene, and unless she killed herself by throwing herself against every wall and piece of furniture in the apartment, it's probably not a suicide. So, let's see, Lois is trying to get a little bit deeper. She's talking to this one political figure who goes, okay, I'll have one meeting with you. She tells him, look, I'm going to go to the press on what I know about you anyway, so you might as well talk to me and give your side. When they do, she is shot at and he is killed, although it's done in such a way where you can't really tell who was the intended victim on this. Excellent work, solid art, really capturing the atmosphere, realistic tone. Love this one a lot. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Ram Chips. Daredevil 9 or 621. And this is a great issue. Chip Sardowski. And who's the current artist on this? The current artist is Sharma. And this is wonderful. Of course, Matt Murdock has been going through this kind of crisis of faith. I know, it's crazy, huh? But it is a little bit different than what he's done in the past, because he straight up killed a guy by accident. He was fighting some random crooks. He hit one too hard, possibly because he still was suffering from his car accident, so he wasn't 100% perfect when he went out and patrolled. And he hit a guy a little bit too hard, and he died. So that's a really interesting idea, because that's something superhero comics, and even the ones I write, don't really deal with that idea. If you hit people, you might hit them too hard. And some of these guys are ultra powerful, and they're smacking people around left and right. I once saw Spider-Man in an amazing comic issue, drawn by Todd McFarlane, written by David Michelinie, Assassination Nation. He threw a guy, a regular human being, through a train boxcar, through it. And he tells himself, oh wait, I better slow down, I might hurt somebody. You threw a guy through a boxcar. That guy might be dead. But anyway, that's something that superhero comics don't really deal with, and we've gone head first into this. He, of course, is also starting a romance with this woman named Mindy, who is connected to a mob family. Cole North is being harassed by the more corrupt police detectives in his unit. And Matt has decided to come semi out of retirement with the old impromptu costume thing he does every so often. Love it. And then, of course, at the end, he and Mindy hook up. Good luck, Mindy. You can meet it. Wow, this is great. I love Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil. This is 9 issues in, one of the best runs I've seen on Daredevil in a publication history of really good runs. So, very excited to see where this, of course, goes. 5 out of 5 Ram Chips. Really should be reading Daredevil. If you haven't read it for a few years, time to come back. Good book. We go to the miniseries Invisible Woman, number 2, and it's written by Mark Waid. And who's the artist on this? A really interesting artist. Let's see here. Okay. Mata D. Lois. Forgive me if I butchered that name. And last we met our heroes in this one, we're dealing with the fact that early in her career, Sue Storm helped out with people with spying. She actually is a really good choice to help with spying because of her powers. And she had this relationship with this dude who, he was trying to hook up with her and trying to tempt her to stay in spying with him, but of course that didn't work out. He has turned up missing, and she and Black Widow are now trying to find him. And the art's really gorgeous, a nice kind of like glossy, realistic style that I like a lot. And let's see. Sue figures out a good way to work around the whole like drinking game challenge by just turning the liquid invisible so it looks like you drank it. These idiots don't really know what they're getting into. And during a chase scene, she actually turns one of the guys she's chasing with Black Widow jumps into this building hoping to lose them, and she just turns parts of it invisible so they can see where he's running. That's genius. I love the way Mark Waid is using her powers in this series. Anyway, we get to the end where we realize that the spy has a wife, and that's their next clue, so we'll go see where that's heading off. This is a really excellent issue. Fantastic Four is great right now. The regular book and the spin-off book, I hope we see more kind of satellite titles. We got the Future Foundation coming up as well. So not a bad time for Fantastic Four. When you got a movie coming up, Marvel pays a little bit more attention to you, as you notice. And let's see, we'll head back to DC and end off with Marvel. We're doing number 29 of Justice League with Scott Snyder and let's see, Tynion. James Tynion. And this is all about Jarro. I haven't really talked much about Jarro, but he's essentially he is a regenerated piece of the Starro that was destroyed in the No Justice miniseries. And he's kind of regrown, and he has a sense of justice, and he sees himself as Batman's new sidekick with a little cute, adorable Robin costume. And he is kind of one of my new favorite Robins. Actually, he is still even better than Damian and Jason. It's amazing. I mean, he's probably my 4th or 5th favorite Robin now, so congratulations, Jarro. I've only seen you a handful of times. And let's see, a lot of what we're seeing here is him taking on the Legion of Doom, and then the Justice League are brought in. And halfway through it, we realize that this is all kind of a simulation that he has been putting the Justice League through. Because he's afraid of what's coming up, and maybe we need to go to extreme choices to get through all this, and Batman talks him down. Like, that's not what we do here. That's not protection, that's control. And he eventually succumbs to what Batman is telling him in this really sweet moment where he's hugging Jarro. Their relationship and mentorship really feels like genuine. It's kind of sweet and adorable. And of course, we get left with the cliffhanger that the Legion of Doom had the other bits of Starro, so they're regenerating him completely. Great book. I have to say, I have to confess, there have been times, like 3 or 4 times during the run of the series, where I've considered dropping Justice League because it's pretty much remained on the same story like throughout. And I'll be honest, when you go 30 issues into one story, I tend to get a little tired. And I don't know if Snyder has done enough to mix it up. But this gorgeous art, the really good writing. I mean, issue after issue is really solid, the way he approaches each one of these storylines. And also, like, stuff like this, like the Jarro thing. I mean, it keeps me sticking around. I guess that would be my only complaint is, like, mix it up a little bit. Avengers is kind of going through the same thing, where they have a long story arc they're doing, but Jason Aaron's been a little bit better about, like, throwing a different, like, story in the mix, to keep things a little fresh. Not so much over in Justice League, but Jarro, come on. That's going to be 4 out of 5 Ram Chips. Good issue. Really good, solid issue, and I do recommend it. Okay, now we're going to finish up with Champions number 8, and it's by Jim Zub, and let's see. And Cummings doing this. And recently, in between issues, I've learned that Champions is coming to a close, which is kind of bumming me out because I really love this series. I love the Trinity of Miss Marvel, the Alex Nova, and Miles Morales. They've really been kind of like been there for each other and forming this team. And I really like the idea of the team of a altruistic team of superheroes that are trying to kind of solve problems rather than just being there when things go wrong. Really dig this a lot, and I'm sorry to see this book go, especially when I think Jim Zub was doing a pretty strong job building off Mark Waid's initial run. Anyway, things are kind of coming to a head. We have Viv that has been put in charge of the team since Miss Marvel decided to take a little break because of what had happened recently in some issues where she's kind of been stressed out. I mean, look, you see your own death. You want to take a breather. Anyway, we have like a whole bunch of stuff going on all at once because we also have Alex along with one of his villains, let's see, Catarera. He embarrassed her a while back in his own series, and she wants revenge on him to fight to the death, but he doesn't have the helmet anymore. So she took him and said, hey, let's go get your helmet so I can kill you. And he was like, well, I need the helmet, so let's go do it. They go all the way to Nova headquarters deep in space and then realize, oh, helmet was on Earth the whole time. So they come back right in the middle of the Champions taking on the Freelancers. Remember those bastards? They're basically the Champions all gone wrong. If the Champions just did anything for money, that would be these guys. They start a fight, but that facility is exactly where the helmet's being kept. So that gets things interesting because she gets fighting the Freelancers and the Champions. It's kind of fun watching her take out these guys. And that's when Nova shows up, and he doesn't even bother trying to fight her in a fair fight. He just captures her right off, and she's like, what are you talking about? We were going to have a fight. And he's like, you know what? Look, you're a murderer. You're a crazy murderer. That's more important than your honor and my pride. Love it. Great. And the rest of the Nova Corps shows up, and he tells him, look, you don't know how this black helmet works. I know how it works, and it wants to be used by me. I'm keeping it. And if you've got problems, that's tough. And they back down. They agree, which is pretty awesome. And everything looks pretty happy and hunky-dory until we get this really solid cliffhanger, which, to be honest, was kind of out of nowhere. I did not expect it. It's a really good one. Matter of fact, I will not blow it for you. This is a really good issue. I'm going to give this a strong 4 out of 5 Ram Chips. Dug it a lot. The art's good, too. So, yeah, I had some really good books this week. Oh, boy. I would probably say my issue of the week is Daredevil number 9. Once again, month after month, this is a great read. I loved it a lot. Not surprised if each week this comes out, it'll be in my choice for issue of the week. Really good, strong stuff. Hey, what did you read this week? Or what did you read? Did you read any of my books? Let me know in the comments below. You can have any kind of suggestions, things I should be reading, or if you like the Lois Lane, Daredevil, Champions, and whatever. You can follow me on the social medias, the Twitters, and the Facebooks, and the Instagrams. Not to mention, you can support this channel on Patreon with just $1 a month. That's all, really. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Well, I think we're done here, so push the button, Lindsay.
They don't play the song on the radio. They don't show that it's on the radio. They don't know that we are the media. They don't know that we start the media. I don't want to see what I'm making you. I see something steeped and I'm shaking you.